The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Hey.
Welcome to the February 10th edition of One Nation Radio. I am your host, Rich Latta, and of course, I'm here with my co-host, James Boyd. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Not too much.
Awesome, man. And joining us is a longtime guest. Man has been making, on and off appearances on this show for about 4 years now. The author of the greatest matches and rivalries of the WrestleMania era. Joining us for this special project today, the Doc, Chad Matthews. What's going on, man?
Oh, not much, man. Just happy to be back on the show. Excited to tackle this project with you guys.
Yeah, man. So what's going on here? Pretty much, I had this idea to, thinking about how bloated the roster is in WWE across their 5 brands? Like you got Raw, you got SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, and 205 Live. And I was like, man, so if they had to run a traditional wrestling company right now, and, I just came up with kind of an arbitrary number, like 40 men, 20 women, based on, how many men they have compared to women. And I was like, who would actually be the ones that would be worth a damn to keep? And how much, is how much is being on how many people are on this roster where it's like either they don't really have future prospects, or they're just taking up space, or they're just flat out, sorry. So that we can just be like, why do they even work here? So this will not include the Largo Loop guys. So you have to be at least on NXT TV or NXT UK TV. All the 205 Live guys are eligible here, as well as the Raw and SmackDown performers. James, so looking at this, I know you did a little bit of pre-scouting for the women. Was it a cut and dry thing on the men as well like that?
I think because there's a lot more depth inside of the ancillary divisions. Like you have a whole 205 Live that's nothing but men, nothing but penises, and then you have the UK, and you also have domestic NXT that their male rosters are so much larger than their female rosters that getting to 40 will be a lot. Cutting down to 40 will be a lot more difficult than it will be cutting down to 20 for women. If you want to make it more difficult, I'll probably this is your thing, but looking back at it, we probably need to go back and probably if we cut down to 15 for women, it'd probably be a lot. It'd probably be able to match what it would be in difficulty for cutting down to 40 for men.
Gotcha. So for the sake of just, accuracy or, just the easiest way, all tag team acts are counted as one spot on this. Say if we want to keep the New Day, it means those 3 guys, but they only count as one. The Usos, right. They only count as one. Flash Morgan Webster's at Gibson, that counts as 1. So stuff like that. So
Flash Morgan, wait. When have they been a tag team?
Excuse me, not Flash Morgan Webster.
You mean the Drake?
Yes, James Drake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Confusing my UK guys. So I guess we can get started with Raw and SmackDown right off the top. I'm gonna go to the Wikipedia and just go in order here, and I will also be keeping track. Chad, we'll give you the first vote on this for the first round here for the Monday Night Raw. James, you want the second vote, and I can be the tiebreaker here.
Sure.
So, and then cool. we'll just rotate, on SmackDown and NXT, such and such in future episodes. So, okay, the AOP.
I'm gonna say let's cut them.
Yep, gone.
Holla, AOP, y'all have been fired. Apollo Crews.
Sticking with the idea that I read out of Tony Khan's recent interview. That he did with Wrestling Observer Radio. I'm gonna at least throw it out there that we keep Apollo Crews for right now, because I think we're gonna need some undercard guys, and he strikes me as the kind of guy right now who can do some jobs and maybe grow into a role later. We need ourselves a Zack Ryder 2012. He fits that role pretty well, I think. I'm gonna vote to hang on to him right now.
He's somebody that I would put in the pile for on the bubble, and then as we go through it, I would be somebody I would look back and then would make a decision on. I think he's somebody that's on that, as opposed to AOP, which seems like an automatic cut.
So,
should we do that, or should we just cut him so we make a decision right now?
So we can put him on the list and then go back through it, because like pretty much if it's up to you whether you would vote to keep him or not, because then it would drop to me.
Yeah, the way how I went through the women, just on a precursor, was I actually had plans on going to the men's roster. I just ran out of time, but I did the women first, because your joke is always James Boyd is a wrestling fan. So I decided to do it on the things of who are my locks. So in this case, like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, clear locks, Braun Strowman, clear lock, and then Johnny Gargano, clear lock, and then after that, like. The people that I know immediately are cuts are like Baron Corbin immediately getting the fuck out of here. So, then people that were in between, like I put in the list on the bubble or whatever else from there. But I didn't have a chance to do it for the men. So, but if you want to do it, it depends on how y'all want to do it.
Yeah. So let's put them on the bubble. How about that?
Yeah, we'll put Cruz on the bubble. Yeah, and then we'll cut down after that.
All right, Apollo Crews on the bubble here. So, and the thing I actually forgot to mention, we're looking at age. We're looking at what's left to accomplish for these people, future prospects, their overall ability, their star power, and like Chad said, like what could be done with them, like because everyone can't be on top right now. So someone
star
like an
potential
Apollo Crews,
as well.
Yeah, star potential, different stuff like that. So, our next name here, excuse me, the B Team.
Oh God.
We're tossing them. Get out of here.
Do it, James.
Oh yeah, B team. No. B team. Kick rocks. No,
y'all fired.
They gotta go. Gotta go.
Okay. Our next name here, the WWE Intercontinental Champion, Bobby Lashley.
Cut.
Give me the belt back. You got to go.
We're holding up the title?
The belt, yeah.
Let's do a tournament.
Yeah.
Let's do a tournament. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
good thing we don't have it where we're setting up for China to be the champion. Otherwise, if we have to give him $100,000, he can stick us up for paper. So he just take the belt and he can just go.
Never really understood the appeal in bringing him back.
Yeah,
see ya.
Yeah.
I thought there was something different. And first off, I've only heard Lashley. I wasn't a fan at that point in time, but like they've done less than nothing with him over this year or roughly a year. So yeah. What's the point?
So our next name on the list is Bobby Roode, but he's in a tag team with Chad Gable. So Gable and Roode, will this save Bobby Roode? Because I know for me, it would have been a cut for Bobby Roode alone, but maybe the tag team keeps him around. What say you, Chad?
Do we have to vote the tag team out? Is there a possibility of keeping Chad Gable?
If you if you really want to keep him, cut Rude. Like we're all about flexibility here.
I want to cut Rude. He's an older guy. Let's make him a backstage agent. But active career over as far as I'm concerned.
I would have put him in the pile. I would have put him in the bubble with Chad with Chad Gable. That's what I would have done. But how do you see that? How do you see that, Rich?
He is a cut for me. Like I see,
well, he's cut then.
Yeah,
he's gone. Fine.
He's lucky Shinsuke Nakamura turned down that entrance music, or else he wouldn't be here. He might be selling meat from a truck in Minneapolis somewhere.
The thing for me is right.
Damn.
The thing. Oh yeah, that's the line that Hogan hit Bischoff with during the Bash of the Beach.
Yeah.
We always talk about how hilarious it was. So the thing for me is he's somebody that I saw in NXT and I saw how well of a heel champion he was. So it's like I understand where he is now, but like they don't have to book him so shittily.
Shittily.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like they could do the right thing. They could book him better, or they could, try to fix up this Raw tag division. But I mean, whatever. I guess Damage is done once the whole piss thing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He gone, fine. He gone.
You got
whatever.
to go. Holla.
Yeah.
Up next, Braun Strowman.
Definitely have to keep him.
Yeah, I think he's a lot.
Yeah,
I believe he's a lot. He's at worst the third most over person on the brand.
Yep. No argument for me here. Bray Wyatt.
Go ahead, Chad.
Oh man, that's interesting. I would keep Bray Wyatt because he's young, because he's got a very good resume behind him. I don't know what's in front of him, but I like Bray Wyatt as a talent. I think that there's something there, and plus with the way that I think our roster is going to shape up, we're going to need some folks who look different. And he's just got a different, unique look and feel to him. So you can put him on the bubble for all I care. But right now I'd say Bray Wyatt, not a lock, but someone I would want, at least on the first round of keep or cut.
James?
Okay. Based on output, he'd be an immediate cut for me. But he's over, and you know me, I'm always a person where like if I don't like it, I don't have to like it. If he's over, he's over. He's someone that's always been over for the nearly 6 years he's been, or 5.5 years he's been with the company or on the main roster. So I will put him on the bubble. But I don't think he's going to make the bubble. I don't think he's going to make the bubble list after this, though.
I would default to an immediate cut, but the only thing is I feel like he has never got to try it as a face and bring us in with him on that nonsense that he would talk rather than confuse us. So for that, I will throw him a spare. I will spare him and throw him to the
Okay.
That's fair.
So I think there's still potential there with him. As crazy as it sounds for a guy that's been around that long and this, beat down. Chad,
look. He could easily be a number 3 babyface in one of these brands, get his brains beat in. He easily could do that.
Yeah. I think you're going to enjoy this next one, Chad. The WWE Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar.
I'm gonna definitely say cut. I can appreciate the value and the star power, but I think he is a good example of the law of diminishing returns. So it's a company that needs to move on from it. He had his peak run. He's holding a lot of things back, and he's creatively just there's nothing left there, in my opinion. It's time for him to go.
James.
Oh, man. Am I really going to do this? Okay, so are we booking this, or are we making a roster that Vince has to book? Which one?
This for us. We're keeping 40 and 15. What
I'm saying, are these people that we're gonna book, or is this people that we made this roster and then Vince has to go book it?
I mean, I didn't really think about all of that, but
because it's a difference. Like, if we're gonna have Brock Lesnar doing interesting things and not lording over the title and like making Raw completely rudderless,
I guess we take them on
champion. Sorry,
I was gonna say, I guess we take them on like what they've done in recent times, and then what they're capable of doing.
Okay, cut. Like, if that's the case, then cut. Like, if there's stuff for him to do, they don't want to do it with him. And if you're saying that we're based on the track record of what's been done with him, like, it's cool that you had back-to-back really good pay-per-view matches, but like, damage been done. You've stomped the mud hole in the potential of all these people on the road. Go, bye. Go to AEW, go to Japan, go back to UFC. Just get the fuck out of here. Bye.
So I think Lesnar departing would open up a lot of space at the top of the card, and I don't really know how you can quantify what Lesnar does for you anymore at the box office. Like fans can't. I think only WWE can do that, because we don't get those numbers anymore, because they're chopping off everything that they choose to release, because people are noticing that those diamonds are looking cloudy, essentially. So, like, I don't know if you heard about this, Chad, but they're going to stop releasing the WrestleMania or the WWE Network subscribers after WrestleMania, as they've annually done. Like, they're about to roll that back. So, I don't know, man.
How the hell can they do that?
They do what they want.
Pretty much.
I'm not a stockholder anymore. I sold it when the network came to be, and the stock price jumped like $30. But if I'm a stockholder, that's one of the biggest things I want to know. I want to know how the subscriber count's going. If it dips below 1 million, I'd like to know about that. If it goes above 2 million, I would like to know about that. That's a very interesting practice.
Yeah,
we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, by all accounts, pretty much they've stagnated out at like 1.6-ish, and it comes and goes or whatever else. But like, they're seemingly never going to get to 2 million. So I think that's the reason why they said, nope, we're not going to come out here and then, after doing all these gimmicks with, $1 paid or whatever else, like, we're not coming out here and trying to try to scam a number like we've been doing for the past couple of years, or every year, actually.
I think I forgot this guy, but Baron Corbin.
Bye. Let's not even spend any time on it. Bye.
Cut. Look, I jumped in front of James. Cut. Rush to the podium on James. All right, the next guy.
I'm not even gonna say nothing. You see me on the screen.
Yes.
Can't, obviously it's a podcast medium, but I'm just waving my hand like, get
no.
going. Get going, brother.
You got to go. Chad Gable.
I'd like to put him on the bubble for similar reasons that we've got Apollo Crews on the bubble.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Apollo.
Yeah.
That's right. He is not Apollo. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
James?
Yeah, definitely bubble. A guy that anytime he's ever had any time to be on TV and a match, whatever, he's got himself over or got the match over, and was a different feel than what we normally get. So, yeah, definitely.
All right, Chad Gable, to the bubble you go. Oh, God. Kurt Hawkins, cut.
Gone.
Curtis Axel, cut. He's already been cut.
Look, we don't need to spend money on a roster to have jobbers. We can get jobbers from the local indies. Go. Bye.
Well put.
Yep.
Very well put. Bye.
So the next guy on this list is Dash Wilder, and that brings up The Revival.
We have to keep the Revival. The potential is there for tag team wrestling in WWE. We either have to, I think we're making a statement with the Revival. If we're going to make tag team wrestling a thing, then the Revival have to be a part of what we're doing.
James?
They are one of my favorite tag teams of all time. They're staying.
Yep. So Revival, you stay. I don't
and
know.
Also, and it also helps that like voting for both of them is only one vote.
Correct.
That also helps.
Correct.
Yeah.
Up next, a man that is rumored to be heading out of WWE and been confirmed by that. We're still trying to see how all this shakes out, but Dean Ambrose.
Well, he definitely would have been a lock for me if we if I mean, are we taking into account that he is on his way out the door? Is that something we're going to consider here?
Whatever you like it to be, Chad.
Well, if it were me and he gave me, like, let's say that I am Vince McMahon and he came up to me and said, look, I'm not re-signing. It's not about the money. It's about just, it's about creative fulfillment. Then if I were Vince McMahon, I would say, all right, fair enough, guys, we're going to lose one of our best assets that we've never really tapped into his full potential. So let's tap into his full potential and let's see if we can get him to stay. Because we don't care. We're WWE. It doesn't matter if AEW is out there. New Japan's barely a blip on our radar. We can do whatever we want. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. We get money from everybody, even if we don't get ratings and attendance.
In spite of ourselves.
So why not? Let's roll the dice, and rather than make this guy look like a goof on his way out, let's try to get him to stay. So I want to keep Dean Ambrose. Absolutely. I think Dean Ambrose is one of the locks.
James?
I'm not cutting Dean Ambrose unless he walked up to me and told me that he wanted out. It's that simple. Like, his track record outside of this heel turn, look at what his track record has been. He's always been more over than his push. And he's been a champion. He's a Grand Slam champion. He's one of the, he's a foundational, or he's one of 3 members of the Shield. I'm not cutting him unless he wants out.
Up next, Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, man. I feel like Dolph Ziggler is a guy who, every time you give him an opportunity to do something, to sink his teeth into, he gets the job done, both as a character and in the spotlight matches that he's given. Obviously, there are exceptions, but, looking at that main event where the crowd was counting down that Iron Man match. But, SummerSlam, tag matches that he had with Ambrose and Rollins with McIntyre were great. That was just this past year. Intercontinental champ, long-time legacy. He's getting a little up there in age, but I think he still has value. I still think he has value. He's one of those guys who can make people look good, and, you can job him out for 6 straight months, and then the next month put him in the spotlight again, and he'll thrive. So I'd like to keep Dolph Ziggler for now.
James.
Cut, go be great somewhere else. And I know once he goes, he'll be great somewhere else. He needs to leave that. He needs to be taken out of the nest. He needs to venture out.
He is a cut for me as well.
Like my thing is, I cut him. He's probably going to be great. If he wants it, he'll be great somewhere else, and I can get him back, and he'll be fresher than ever. And then I can do it because I've screwed him up so badly on this company. So cut him.
I just don't see the future benefit of having Dolph Ziggler around with all the guys we still have left to go in NXT. And as far as like the bubble performers, it's like I feel like I can get a fresher face in that role that Dolph would fulfill. He's not going to be at the top anymore. He's kind of done it all essentially. So for me, Ziggler's a cut.
Fair enough, and I do, just taking it outside this project for a second on a closing note here, I think it's going to be interesting if some of those very thoughts come into play when he does eventually leave. Like if he left this year, for instance, or next year, are people going to say the same thing about him that Rich just said? And if so, is that going to basically be the end of Dolph Ziggler? Does he have a lot of value? Are people going to think of him the same way that Rich just said? I think that's an interesting question.
Yep. Up next, the guy that he was tasked with getting over for much of 2018, Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre is an absolute keeper. He's a young guy. He's basically what they want Baron Corbin to be already. If they'll just give him the spotlight, then he's way, way, way better. He's got an incredibly unique modern moveset for a big guy. To me, he's what a modern big guy should be all about and what we're trying to put together.
James?
He's an absolute lock, and what I'll say is this: up 2 things. One, they've been the last 6 weeks they booked him like crap, and 2, when he came out for Brooklyn 3, and I thought to myself, he came out, and I thought to myself, that is your top heel, and I don't know how they do it or whatever else, but Reigns versus McIntyre needs to be the main event of WrestleMania 35 or 36 is what my thought was at the time at WrestleMania at Brooklyn 3. So he's an absolute lock for me.
All right, up next, Elias.
I'm going to cut Elias. I don't really see much value there besides playing the damn guitar, which to me is, it's nice, but I don't really see a whole lot else.
James.
Kizut his Mizike.
See, I would have been tempted to leave Elias on the bubble because he's over.
He is.
He's damn sure over. No question.
But the thing is,
he's a zero in the ring. Like
you can't hide him. You have to put him in the ring eventually, and he does nothing in the ring. Like he has the V trigger, he has elbow drops, and he has his finish. That about it. So he got no. I can't put him in the ring. I'm not. We have too many talented people that can also talk in the mic and also entertaining on this roster to be out here holding just because he does a gimmick that The Rock did better 15 years ago. Bye.
Yeah. All right, Elias, cut. Fandango.
Cut. 15 minutes of fame were up 6 years ago.
Yeah, man. Time to go. James?
Yeah, he gone. He beat Jericho at WrestleMania 29.
Unforgivable. Up next, Finn Balor.
100% keep. Even though he's getting up there in age, he's still got so much that they could do with him in the short term. You know, he could be doing what AJ Styles is doing as into his early 40s and beyond. I love Finn Balor.
James?
He's a lock. He's pretty much the only person we ever known to ever actually be a draw in NXT. And I can't wait for him to get away from Raw and get away from the land where the big boys play. I want him fighting people that he doesn't have to be an underdog, that the most underdog to ever underdog. So yes, I need him to move over to SmackDown. I need to get him the hell away from Raw.
Monday Night Raw where the big boys play.
Yeah. Where the big boy played that in.
Like especially last year. Remember last year when it was Joe, Brock, Roman, and who else?
Strowman.
Strowman and Cena. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Finn Balor, welcome to the club. Goldust.
I see what you did there.
Goldust, thank you for the memories. See ya.
James?
Lock for the Hall of Fame, but he's getting cut.
I have an irrational love for Goldust, but there is a spot in AEW for you, Goldust.
Exactly.
Grand Metalik.
Like, I will cut him, but only cut him away from being in front of the camera. Like, he has a job being backstage doing whatever he wants to for forever.
So this is a 205 Live guy, Grand Metalik. He happened to pop on my list right here.
Can we talk about what kind of presence we want Cruiserweight Wrestling to have on our show?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Do we want a defined Cruiserweight division on our show?
I say no. I say use those guys. Like if you're gonna pick somebody from 205 Live, they're coming to the main roster, and you push them like they're anybody else. Because you've seen it how they done 205 Live, where like they're small guys and they're doing more impressive flips than the big guys that also do relatively impressive flips because they're so big doing it. So we need to get rid of that. Like, I'm so happy that like Ali graduated to the main roster. And I hope Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander and some of the other guys, they also, once 205 Live, whatever, dematerialized or whatever else, like they move up to the main roster and they use these people in different areas to try to make better television in matches.
And in that case, if that's where we're at, and I think that's fine, I'm good with that, then as much as it pains me to say, because I feel like Grand Metalik has got a lot to offer on the show that he's on right now and rarely gets the opportunity to, I'm going to say let's cut him.
James.
He's so talented that I'll say put him on the bubble. And when we go back to the bubble, he'll probably get cut, but he's that kind of talent that I don't want to just outright just say he's got to go.
So, strange thing about Grand Metalik, he's been in the three biggest companies in the world. He's been in CMLL, He's been in New Japan, and now he's in WWE. He's never been pushed in any of those companies for whatever reason. We'll throw him on the bubble, but he seems like a cut.
Yeah, I'm just saying we'll come back later and cut him, but I don't want to just dismiss him outright. That's where I'm at on that.
So, Grand Mets League, welcome to the bubble. Up next, Heath Slater.
Bye.
Holla. Oh man, I'm gonna take.
We got logos for that.
Yes, I'm gonna take particular pleasure in announcing this next one. Former WWE champion Jinder Mahal.
Let me get my voice nice and clear and ready for this. Jinder Mahal, you're fired.
James.
Jinder Mahal, you've been chopped.
Jinder Mahal, you got to go. Holla. We'll never forgive you.
That's the truth.
Yes.
Look, it ain't his fault. That's the machine's fault.
You shouldn't have never been in that position, no way.
Exactly. His only role for me moving forward is going to be yearly. He's my favorite, most cathartic Royal Rumble elimination.
Oh my god!
I still got up this year and cheered. I was like, yes, when he got eliminated.
Oh man! Up next,
I swear, Petty Chad is the best Chad.
Yes,
he really is.
Up next, Kalisto.
Cut.
Yeah, cut. He had a shot. They gave him a little run or whatever else. Like, it's gonna be. I think that there's been damage done on his with botches and what happened in 2015, late 2015 into 16. It's he has to go.
He's gotten a lot better, to his credit. He's a lot cleaner now. But I mean, if we're gonna put Metalik on the bubble, I'd rather have Metalik than Kalisto.
A lot less damage and more talented. Yeah.
Mini Ultimo Dragon got to go.
The disrespect. How many wrestlers from your childhood were as good as Ultimo Dragon? And you saying Kalisto is mini? I don't care what it looks like aesthetically. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's like being like watching Andre Drummond in high school. Be like, oh yeah, that's Shaq. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh man. Up next, Kevin Owens.
Keep.
Lock.
Hell yeah, absolutely
Lock.
keep.
I don't care how bad the last 2 or a year and a half has been. Lock.
Kevin Owens on the keepers list. The Ascension.
See ya.
Do you even have to really bring them up? they were dead the moment JBL squashed them dudes, man.
You know, we saw the Connor push a couple months ago, James.
God.
Chad, I don't know if you noticed this because you weren't watching the TV regularly, but there was about a 3-week period where they were talking about how big Connor was, how impressive he was, and giving him a couple victories, and we got the 3-week mini Connor push. This is something that happened in 2018.
Wow.
Bye.
One place we don't have to worry about him being pushed, this promotion. So he can go. Up next, WWE Hall of Famer, Kurt Angle.
Cut.
Like, I mean, he's given all he's had to give. What were you expecting for? We want him just to burn out like John Henry on the railroad. He's gone. he's, no, man. Like, no. Like, you're done. Like, if you want, please be an ambassador for us. You make us look good. But no, you're no more in the ring. We're done with that. Especially because we keep embarrassing you.
You guys remember when Robert Parrish played for the
Bulls?
God,
the Bulls. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes.
This is what it reminds me of. It's just like, man, God, this guy was a god back in the day. Why are we doing this to him? I mean, why? Jeez. What's the point? I mean, it's just, surely nobody who's watching backstage watches Kurt Angle right now and says, man, yeah, there's still some value there. Like, no, there's not. There's not. But there's
he's a
clearly
shell of
not. I
himself.
mean, it's just nothing there.
It's a cheap pop, and then they expose it by talking about how it's nothing but a cheap pop too on TV. No.
Lindsay Dorado.
Well, real quick, sorry, because you brought up Robert Parrish. Like, Robert Parrish will always be a hood legend for punching down Lambier. Always. No matter what. I don't give a damn if you play for the Celtics and people don't like the Celtics. No, he's always. Put him in the Hall of Awesome for all time.
Yes. Lindsay Dorado.
Cut.
You got to go, player.
Cut.
Yeah.
Up next, Mojo Rawley.
Who? I'm sorry.
Mojo Rawley.
Oh man, as much as he shows at times a little bit of potential to be able to speak, there are a lot of guys out there who can speak, who can actually get it done in between the ropes. And I think, a project like that on a 40-man roster, just we're the biggest wrestling company in the world. There's a different place for projects like that to learn. That's not here. Cut.
James.
Yep. He's somebody that I give shots because he's such a talented talker. But like you said, the same thing when we talked about why he even got brought up to the main roster. It's like, when we talk about development, well, how much of NXT is actually development, how much are people actually development, how much of it is you're just hoarding talent in a super indie or a mega indie or an ultra indie. So, no, you gotta go.
And I like Mojo Rawley a lot. Had I had one of the first two votes, I may have been tempted to argue for a bubble spot for that man, but nah, you got to go Mojo.
Now, he's somebody that right now on current day roster, like, they should keep giving him a chance to try to get this character over and keep giving him at bats to try to see if he can make something stick with how talented of a talker he is. However, the wrestling ain't there. And there ain't no guarantee ever gonna get there.
So up next, we've got No Way Jose.
Let's not even waste our
20
seconds tops.
Can we make a designated spot for like opening matches? Otherwise, he's cut.
Yeah, he's cut. Rhino. Yeah, cut.
I'd say same thing. 10 seconds or less here.
Yep. Roman Reigns.
Lock.
Obviously, lock.
Lock until we find out he can't come back.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah. A definite yes from me.
He's a lock for me, and we'll book him better. Like, seriously, has anybody from recent time like has done that well of a job while being misused on an at-bat per basis? Like, everything they give him, he knocks out of the park, and they still mismanage him. They still give him nothing. He's a lot for me.
I can't wait till he comes back. I guess the Singh brothers. No, they got to go.
Nah, Jenner's gone.
Yeah, Jenner's
5
gone.
seconds
That's right.
less.
Yep. Seth Rollins.
Absolutely. Lock.
Lock.
Rollins.
I don't know about being a 2 seed for best in the world or whatever, but he's a lock.
Titus O'Neil.
Sorry, Titus. Back in the day, I felt like Titus had a lot of untapped potential, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah. James?
He was having bad matches with Sami Zayn in 2016. That should be impossible. He's gone.
I love everything you do for the community, Titus, but you got to go. Holla.
Do it elsewhere.
Yep.
keep doing it, but you can't work here.
Look, keep the same energy.
Yes.
So, Tyler Breeze.
Gonna have to say cut. I think he'd be a great addition to our lower card, but with what little he's been able to do in his near 4 years on the main roster, I don't think we can really justify it.
James.
Cut, and I hope you become Ring of Honor champion.
And Zack Ryder will be our last male member of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he's gone in a heartbeat quickly.
All right.
Snip.
On to the women. Alexa Bliss.
Oh, man. I know you guys don't like Alexa Bliss. I'm going to argue that we keep...
You don't need to argue. She's a lock.
Yes.
Like, there's no need. No.
Yeah.
There's no need to. I mean, the women. She's a lock. She's a lock.
She's a lock. Yep.
I don't want her in the best of 8 women on best of 8 women on the roster tournament, but yeah, she's a lock.
Alicia Fox.
Goodbye.
Thank you
Take care.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Bailey.
Lock.
Lock.
Up next, Dana Brooke.
Take care.
Gone.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Ember Moon.
Absolute lock.
Lock.
All right. Liv Morgan.
I'm going to say cut. I don't really see a whole lot in any of them from the Riot Squad, quite frankly, unless we're keeping them as a unit, in which case I'll say yes, we can keep them. I mean, they are a faction through and through. If we talked about the New Day, keeping the New Day,
Right. Yeah, so the Riot Squad.
Okay, so I find the idea of Ruby as a solo act more intriguing for potentially than the Riot Squad. But I mean, that's up to how y'all. That's how. If y'all want to keep whatever, we'll keep the Riot Squad because that means Ruby's kept anyway because she was a lock for me anyway. But whatever.
That works.
that's fine with me. I'm good with that. I think the Liv and Sarah Logan have got some potential. I just haven't. I don't know. I'm really not that engaged with what they do because they're kind of a lower card act.
Yeah.
I guess Ruby's getting a title shot, but I've just never really been all that impressed.
Yep. So up next, Mickie James.
I'm fine with Mickie moving on.
James.
I have her as a lot because she's one of the very few women that you can hand the mic to, know that it's going to work out well, and actually gets themselves over when they talk. And she can still wrestle.
So it comes down to me. So what else can we do with Mickie James that we haven't already done? If we're thinking about I'm going to have to look at that list that she sent me, James.
Okay.
So I like Mickie a lot. The last
age is the big thing for me.
Yeah, and it's like future prospects.
Hold on. What's the age problem? She's only like 38, 39. Or 30.
Yeah, but until we see how this whole thing plays out, I mean, she's got a lot of mileage on her. Like, I mean, Charlotte's 34, 33, 34.
No, she's like 32.
She might be a little older than that.
So
like her and Becky are like the same age.
So the thing with Mickie isn't the number age; it's more like the TV age. It's it's
Kobe Bryant kind of age. I mean, she's been around for so long, a lot of mileage on her. Talk about potential of what she can still do, legacy building. She feels to me. Well, can we put her on
the bubble?
Let's put her on the bubble. Let's put her on the bubble
because she's more like Trish Stratus than she is Charlotte Flair. And her and I think Mickie James and Trish Stratus are right around the same age, aren't they? I mean,
they're contemporaries. So
let's put them on. Let's just put her on the bubble and we'll go back because when you look at this bubble list, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see why James put her as a lock.
Up next, we have Natalya.
I guess I would vote to keep her. I'm not a big fan of Natty, but I think that the respect that she has from her peers, her ability to teach, is an invaluable thing right now, which you could say would make her maybe a better trainer and producer for women than a roster member. But I've actually thought that her last couple of years, despite she's got a lot of TV mileage on her herself, she's been around for a decade. But I think what she's done in more recent years, especially when she was a heel in 2017, I really enjoyed her heel run and some of the matches she had. So I will vote to keep her.
Queen of the Jump Zone.
Yep. She's the reason why we started that. Yeah, for me, she's a lot. And also one of the things where, like, if there's whenever there's a job to be done, she's actually credible as somebody that is a former champion and someone that's been around and has had spots here and there. You can beat her and you actually get something out of beating her.
Up next, we have Nia Jax, the internet's favorite wrestler.
A lock for me. I'm as dangerous as she can be. I think when she's on, she is very, very compelling.
James?
Oh, okay. I'll put her on the bubble. For me, she was like, she's in my bubble list, but my thing was like, let's see how Chad sees this. But for me, I would, if it was mine, like the only upside I have out of her is for her to be the giant of the division. Outside of that, like what she brings to the table is not what she brings to the table is stuff outside of actually wrestling inside of a wrestling promotion. She brings like the total divas element, which is, look, say what you want to about Nikki Bella and whoever else did that show. They helped the product get eyes on it. So I'll never knock them for that. But as far as when it comes to the bell ringing, like unless they do something with Ronda Rousey or it's, something special with her, it's, like she's better used in a big spot. She's almost like Sid. She's like the female Sid almost.
That's funny.
Like if you don't push her near the top, she's utterly useless for you.
I'm gonna keep Nia. It's the reason I'm gonna keep her is like how we always crack on NXT is like, yo, there's a bunch of 5'10" white dudes here. Like, so my thing with Nia is like she's different. So
she's not like most girls.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's the strength of the matches that she's had with Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks. She's hit or miss, but when she hits, I think she hits in a big way.
Yeah, that's what I mean as far as that top of the card thing with her. And if you dust her off like a giant and say, you get 2 title shots a year, fine. But I don't want to see her every other week on my television.
Up next.
Yeah, like if we use her the right way, then yeah. But if not, if you use how Vince uses her, then yeah. So let's put her on. Let's put her on she's in right now. She would be my 20th. I had her at the top of the bubble list.
I'm thinking we should cut this to 15, James. Like you were saying.
I mean, if that's the case, I would vote for get rid of her then.
All right.
But
let's do the bubble. Let's do the bubble on Nia.
All right, put her on the bubble.
I'll go to bat for Nia, man. I think everything you said about Natty. You can have her do the job, and she's always credible. I think you can say the same thing about Nia Jax. I think the role I would choose for her is more Big Show. Big Show, often misused, but there's only so much you can do with someone that size. But then again, I mean, if you need somebody to go over, if you need a Bayley or a Sasha Banks or a Becky Lynch, or down the road, if you need a Kairi Sane to get a big win over someone to get her vaulted up quickly, you go over Nia and bam, you've got instant credibility with casual fans.
Or she drops it on your shoulder and you miss SummerSlam main event, or whatever. But whatever.
All right, man. Let's keep her. All right. Up next, Ronda Rousey.
Lock.
Ronda
Rousey. Sasha Banks.
Lock.
And Tamina.
Cut. Good guy.
See, now the way that people talk, the way that Chad was talking about Natalya is like, that's definitely Tamina. You got to go.
All right, so we've made it through the Monday Night Raw roster. For our men, we that have made the 40-man squad. We've got Braun Strowman, The Revival, Dean Ambrose, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, and Seth freaking Rollins.
How many people is that?
So for guys, we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots for the men on Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
For the women,
pardon my French.
Yep.
Pardon my French, but that's fucking sad. The flagship brand of the number one wrestling company in the world. 9
Nine definite
spots.
locks.
Well, also part of that is like when we go through SmackDown, you'd be like, look at and this is the reason why SmackDown's a better show besides just the 2 hours. The hour difference is you look at how many people have been veterans that have gotten over in different areas in their career or were superstars at one point in time on WWE television. Then you combine that with, Andrade's and Ali's and like it's a lot more of a veteran show that knows how to get out of its own way. Like they've been chugging along with only one main event babyface since November?
Since Brian turned.
October?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and people don't even think about that, except for me when I point it out, just like, yo, the balance is really bad. But still, they've been chugging along.
Yeah. So let's go over to the women. We got Alexa, Bayley, Ember Moon, the Riot Squad, Nia Jax, Natalya, Ronda Rousey, and Sasha Banks. So that's 8 acts for the women.
Okay.
And on our bubble,
Seems about right.
we've got Apollo Crews, Bray Wyatt, Chad Gable, Grand Metalik, and Mickie James. So whenever, I guess, like the bubble will come in good use for say if we've got like 35 spots and then we need to pull out the people out of the bubble, then we'll see. And feel free to present a challenge. Like if so there's somebody on the bubble list that needs to take someone else's spot, feel free to jump in with that. But let's move on over to the SmackDown side. And as you guys know, obviously we're not going to do all the brands here today, but we are going to do SmackDown, and that will wrap it up for today. We will be back with more with the NXT and 205 Live, and I will keep track of this as we go too. But without further ado, let's go to SmackDown. And I guess we should change the voting order so I can still present these things. James, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. So for the
I guess I'll go second then.
It's Alex. I'm sorry, Aiden English is first, right?
Yes. If you're looking at the Wikipedia page, right?
Oh, I actually use it in Wikipedia to cut it down, and I have yes, I have that. Aiden English cut.
Yeah, he's a cut. Sorry, buddy.
Definite cut. Yep.
AJ Styles lock.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sanity cut.
Cut.
Andrade lock.
Yeah, he's still around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Big Show cut.
Sorry, Big Show.
Yep, we got Braun Strowman now. We only need one giant.
Yeah. Hey, Hall of Fame, ambassador, all that, but cut. Especially because he's hurt too. He can barely stand up. The Bar lock.
Yeah, lock.
Yeah, I'll keep the Bar.
Daniel Bryan lock.
Absolutely.
He's SmackDown. These locks flying off the board on SmackDown.
Yeah. The Cologne brothers.
I take that back.
Finally, look.
After all these years, we found a way to get rid of them.
Vince won't get rid of them. We're going to get rid of them.
Yes, we will do that. Sorry.
I don't give a damn how much money y'all paying for the TV in Puerto Rico, whatever else. You guys can go. All right. Okay, so did we discuss how we're going to handle the Bludgeon Brothers / the Wyatt / Rowan / Harper / whatever?
I would say they're separate at this point.
Okay,
I think they are with Rowan being with Brian now. Yeah.
Okay, so Harper. I'll put him on the bubble for me.
Ooh, he's up there.
He's in that age of like Cesaro. And
he's probably like 38.
Oh man, I'd put him on the bubble. I need to see who else ends up on our roster before we make that definitive.
Yeah,
I agree.
Same here. He's too talented just to dismiss like that.
Yeah,
and he's had so many moments too.
Yeah, he's valuable. He is very valuable in the right role.
Right.
Who else you got, James?
Sorry?
I said, who else you got?
Oh, Jeff Hardy.
I'm going to say, sorry.
I don't know how to handle that one because, he's still super-duper over, and they still don't really use it. They use him like he's a veteran that they can just beat like a drum. I put him on the bubble. I put him on the bubble for now.
He's a cut for me.
Okay. If y'all want, all right, y'all two got the cut for fun. Yeah. Look. I want to cut him, but he's so over that I feel like there's some value on him. That's all. He's
very over, but I don't have a ceiling for him. I don't have a top level for him, and I don't know how much beating Jeff Hardy really gives me at this point. And he's a cut for me.
Okay, he's a cut. So he's a cut.
I'm going to paraphrase Coach Bud Kilmer from Varsity Blues and saying, I know you played your heart out for me, but I'm still cutting your ass.
Holy shit.
Oh, racist ass Bud Kilmer. Anyway, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is how the running back tells Mox, like, my mom's doing my recruiting for me. He don't do the shit. Like,
I'm going to Grambling.
I'm going to Grambling.
You don't hear me, man.
Exactly. They putting their white fullback. I'm their black workhorse.
Yes.
You know how many yards a game I average? 133. You know how many touchdowns I have? 3.
Like that. Yes.
4, 3. Incredible.
All right.
Incredible.
The Usos are a lock.
Absolutely locked.
Yeah. Ooh, oh, here we go. The Good Brothers go back to Japan. Get the fuck out of here. Go that way.
God, it's so tough, man. I was just watching a Carl Anderson match with Okada from 2012, and it was awesome. And I'm like, man, what happened to this guy, and why haven't we seen even a little bit of that? I know it was 7 years ago, but Jesus Christ, that guy that guy was good.
They gotta go.
Cut.
They had that great angle with the Usos in Roman and AJ and them, and then they decided to do the brand split, and these geniuses said, let's put AJ on SmackDown and let's leave them on Raw, and they did nothing with them worth a damn ever since. If you want to make some appeal to say, hey, we'll keep Anderson, but Gallows has to kick rocks, I will put him on the bubble. But if they're going to be a team, they got to go back to Japan. They want to be great.
I don't think there's an argument for those two guys on this, and we haven't even made the NXT yet. Once NXT comes, those locks are going to fly off the board.
Not a chance.
We've got the bar as locks. The bar served the purpose in the tag team division that the Good Brothers would if used properly. I'm good with them going.
Yeah.
Yes. The New Day, for me, they're a lock.
Absolutely,
they're a lock.
Yeah. I would like to see them be able to break up and, or at least like stay together as a functioning team of people that are friends that go off and do other things, but whatever. The Miz, lock.
Yeah. I guess.
If you keep him away from Shane McMahon, he can always have great feuds with other people or whatever else, and he's a great mid-carder to always have. How old is he now? Is he over 37?
He's 37. I think he's 37.
He's 37. He's late 30s.
So, it does feel funny cutting Dolph Ziggler and keeping him.
Who's been better over the last 4 years? Or the last 2 years. Let's do that. 3 years, sorry. It's not in competition anymore over the last 3 years.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, the Miz is bad. The Miz has had his best run the last few years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like at the very worst, we've got a Rick Martel.
Yeah.
He's early 90s on our hand. So.
All right, we'll keep him.
I meant that as a compliment, by the way.
That was kind of that era where I was just like, I barely remember wrestlers, so I'm like, Rick Martel, wasn't that when he was out here doing the
arrogance,
the cologne arrogance, and yeah, lead to boost my white Burberry cologne. Yeah, so Mustafa Ali.
I think he's a lock.
Looking real lockish to me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
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 I think he's a lock.
A lot of potential.
Oh man, oh my god, I'm sorry, R-Truth. I put him on the bubble, and y'all handle that. Like I bow out on that one. For me, he's cut.
So R-Truth, before I cut him, I think it's important to acknowledge that he has gotten over again somehow.
He's funny. And he's likable. He's funny and he's likable and he's charismatic, and they never did anything with him. When you know why they never did anything with him.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen in a pro wrestling organization was when he brought was however many years ago it was when he brought the ladder into
Yes.
the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And climbed up, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Even when he started this little run where he's like, or he basically him by himself with his own shenanigans turned Carmella babyface more or less.
Yeah.
And all it was he's confusing Carmella from Maurice because he actually has beef with Miz. And why? Because any old blonde white woman looks the same.
So, yeah.
Hilarious to me.
I think it's important to acknowledge, like, R-Truth is essentially like he's an ageless wonder at this point, but
yeah,
I don't know, this roster's too competitive.
Yeah. And also, like, look, it'd be the end. We'll never hear the end of it if we don't cut him after the nobody shook and jive like me. We'll never hear the end of it from Simon or Rob. He gotta go. He gotta go. You can't be saying that on live TV. And thank God he stopped saying it the second that they started getting Carmella with him. He was like, they were pretending like they didn't know that was offensive, and then all of a sudden they added a white woman to that, and they were like, oh no, we can't be having her say that shit.
Yeah.
All right, Randy Orton. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's competitive.
Yikes.
Probably the most interesting question on the entire list thus far to me.
My God.
I am going to put him on the bubble,
Randy Orton?
and I'm going to hide.
Oh,
I'm going to put him on the
God.
bubble, and then I'm not going to cut him now. I'm going to cut him later. I'm putting him on the bubble.
I'm too much of a coward to fire him right now.
Same here. We're going to see.
We gonna see.
And then we'll see.
Randy Orton, you're going to the
probably
bubble.
Gonna get cut. He's probably going to get cut. That's crazy.
Here's the thing about Randy Orton. Randy Orton can pretty much go. Now, the thing about him is he's got such a legacy that there's only so low you can put him.
Yep.
Right.
And that's a problem at this point because he's been around so long. There's very little else that he can do.
But at the same time, like just like on Tuesday, he's still great when he wants to be. That's the crazy thing that's so maddening about him.
Yeah, and I think if at the very least, one thing that we've not really done with anybody yet, or at least brought out into the open, is I still think that Randy Orton has a lot of value in a place he's never really been before, and that's the tag team division. If you put Randy Orton with a young heel. And or even with a young babyface, and just let him do his RKO shtick, then he has value. You can beat him, and it means something. I would vote to keep him at this point. Although I'm fine with putting him on the bubble and saving that conversation for later. But I do think it's a very interesting conversation to have. If you would have asked me a year ago to the day, I would have said without question, cut him. But I really liked what he did as a heel in the back half of 2018. Where the hell did that go, by the way?
I don't know. The Jeff Hardy thing was so great. When he was the mutilator, when he was basically being MAGA Minoru Suzuki, it was incredible. I thought Randy Orton was going to be he was setting himself up. You know how Randy Orton is with his physique and everything else. He kind of gears himself up when he knows he's about to be in the title picture again. And that whole run was like, Rich, watch out.
Yep.
Come WrestleMania season, it's about to be him and AJ for the title or something like that. Watch. But it just went away. I don't know why.
I thought he was going to be AJ's opponent after Joe, actually. But then the Daniel Bryan thing happened on the fly, essentially.
Yeah. 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 I mean,
that one's interesting.
Yeah.
That one's really interesting.
Yeah. Ray.
Ooh.
I am.
I'm not gonna no damn Rey Mysterio Jr. I'm not doing it. Y'all gonna have to help vote me, damn it. Ain't no damn way. Y'all gonna have to fight me for this one. No, I refuse. Especially after 2 matches he had on SmackDown this year already. No, he is still so goddamn good. No, he's a lot for me. Y'all gonna have to vote him out, and I'll never forgive either one of y'all for it. So go ahead.
Oh man, I'm gonna keep Ray because I think it's okay to have a few old guys that are still good, and we don't have that many right now. That is my only saving grace for Rey Mysterio, and I think him against all the new guys, in a way, I think with him and Orton, they kind of have a similar argument in that sense. If you can get them wrestling against people that they've never faced before, I think you might have something in them both. So he could be a bubble guy for me.
I would happily put him on the bubble and revisit it because, you know, Rey Mysterio.
He's like a value add at this point. It's like we don't necessarily need to carve a spot out for Rey, but like if we're struggling with spot number 39 and 40, oh yeah, Rey will get that shit, like you know, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so after Rey we have Rowan.
Cut.
Rusev.
Lock.
He felt so much more of a lock to me 6 months ago, but I'll still keep him because I still want him around. Joe. For me, he's a lock.
Yeah.
Joe will be around.
He's still the best promo in the universe. So, Shelton Benjamin.
Cut.
Oh
Hate
my
to do
God.
it. Loved him back in the day. God, I loved Shelton Benjamin back in the day.
Right. Now this is where we come down to now. We're in the S's. We're on SmackDown.
We've already blown past the men's act on SmackDown, by the way.
Sorry?
We've already blown past the total for men's acts on SmackDown.
Not a shock at all. Yeah. Okay, so we're at the S's on SmackDown Live for the singles men's. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shit.
This is easy for me.
It's easy for you, but you didn't like first watch New Japan, like, and that's like the best wrestler in the world when you first see him. Like, he's a cut. It hurts to say that. Like, he is one of the he's one of a handful of guys where, like, the first time I saw that dude, I thought like that might be the best wrestler I've ever seen, and like that wasn't even that long ago. That was literally 2015.
Wrestle Kingdom 9 versus Kota Ibushi. That's all I will suggest, Chad. But
I'll get there. But I mean, at this point, I've watched him consistently.
Right, I agree.
For the last, I've watched him consistently in WWE these last couple years, and he just looks like someone who just doesn't have doesn't have enough left in the tank to warrant the spot.
He's on vacation.
He's cashing out. This is a retirement tour.
Yep.
Victory lap. I went to America. I did that. Yeah. Cut. That hurts.
Damn.
Oh man. Sin Cara.
Cut. But we will send that man a message that he's cut. We will not fire that man in person because Sin Cara is undefeated backstage from what I hear.
You're not allowed on the compound. We are just changing the key code on you. No, we don't want no smoke.
And we are keeping the Sin Cara gimmick for future reference with some small guy from NXT.
So he can be Sin Cara 3 now?
Yes, we just keep it going forever like Tiger Mask.
Oh my God. Imagine being as unlegendary as Sin Cara, either incarnation, and then you're
just getting your gimmick
to
forever.
Be the equivalent of Tiger Mask, the greatest junior ever. That's crazy. All right, so I'm a Ty Dillinger.
Cut.
Jesus, go away.
I only need 2 fingers to make this motion to say you going, bro.
Leave the premises.
Okay. So, now that we're done with SmackDown and Raw, we also have the floating free agent rookies.
Well, we got the women on. We got the SmackDown women too.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, let's go through that first. All right, so Rich, you might have to look for this from me because I have my women set in different things for locks and whatnot.
I got it here. So let's start with the SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka.
Lock.
And Becky Lynch.
Lock.
Up next, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics.
They're iconically cut.
Yep, cut.
You got to go back to Aussie. You guys can be iconic.
They've been bloody cut.
Yeah, do that shit out there. Carmella.
I put on a bubble on my thing. I made a long list of bubbles, and then we're going to cut down. If y'all want to cut her, go ahead. Fine by me. I don't care one way or the other.
I don't want to cut her. I don't want to cut Carmella. I'd like to at least keep her on the bubble for future conversation.
Okay, bubble.
All right. Charlotte Flair. Lock. So up next, Lana. Cut. Mandy Rose.
Cut.
Keep.
Cut. I don't know, man. It ain't there yet.
Her TV's been terrible, and honestly, you look at what's been done on TV, just because of her looks, they're pushing her like she's Sean when she's really Janetti.
Fair enough.
Up next, Naomi.
For me, she's a lock.
Yeah, I think she's done. She's done enough to make herself viable. So let's keep her.
Yeah, we're keeping Naomi around. We need that entrance forever. Like, up next, Sonya Deville.
Now, just because she's Sean does not mean that she's getting kept. She's a cut for me.
Oh man, I feel like I've seen potential with Sonya. I think her promos aren't really good, but
they're still better than Mandy Rose's.
They are better than Mandy Rose's. But oh man, I feel like,
and also look, she actually looks like she has potential to be a pretty decent hand in the ring, actually. But
Sonya's on the bubble for me.
Put on the bubble.
Sonya's on the bubble.
Put on the bubble.
I'm fine cutting her. Frankly, I feel like there are people that we're gonna talk about later, who do what she does a hell of a lot better than she can do it, and are probably already better than she's ever going to be, and that still have potential to get even better. So I'm fine cutting her, frankly.
I'll put on a boat. Let's put on, yeah. So put on a boat for now. She won't make the list, but she'll put on a boat for now.
She's not a flat cut for me.
Sorry?
I said she's not a flat cut for me. And the last one, Zelina Vega.
Oh, she's cut.
Look,
but
she can stay as a manager.
Yeah, but she's gonna be Andrade's manager.
Yeah, we're not using a spot for her though.
Yeah, she's cut.
All right,
fine with me.
So that is our Raw and SmackDown joint. So let me move it over into the column here. So let's see how many spots we got left. So we kept 4 women on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And
total of 12.
Yep. We kept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 male SmackDown acts. So
I think we're doing all right.
Yep. I think we're...
Well, there's one thing to bring up, and we can mow through this real quick, is the main roster free agents.
Okay, yeah.
So this includes like the people that got called up from NXT that are still just basically floating from show to show because they haven't decided on what to do yet.
That's a good one.
All right, so EC3, I have him as a cut.
I have him as a cut also.
That's fine. No, not going to bat.
Yeah, after seeing how they've used him, cut him. Like, if they were going to make him a talker, he's actually what he's good at. No, Lars Sullivan.
Let's see.
That's a cut for me. I just, we got other big men that are a lot better than him and that have a lot more potential. And Lars Sullivan looks weird. I just don't see him as marketable. He looks like Earthquake to me for the modern era.
He's a cut for me too. And the reason I say he's a cut is because once we start getting to NXT and NXT UK, it's going to get real competitive, and I don't know if he keeps up.
Yeah, cut. I would say that I would say that I would like to bring him back and see where he would be, or whatever. Keep tabs on him after I cut him, though. After I get rid of him. Heavy machinery.
Cut. Sorry, Otis. Do that. You can dance in front of the building, bro.
I'm sorry, Otis. You over, but you got dragged down by your worthless teammate. All right, and then on the women, you have Lacey Evans.
Cut. Like the Royal Rumble, I think she botched everything she did, but she does do that really cool moonsault. That's about it, though.
That was the only thing she did that was nasty. Everything else sucked.
James, any thoughts on Lacey Evans?
I mean, she's gonna get cut. Like, yeah, I cut her to keep her. I cut her to make sure that Vince doesn't ever lay eyes on her, because she'll get a million chances after that if he ever sees her. But cut. Like, hopefully he didn't even watch the Rumble that he was producing. But cut. Oh yeah, and then after that, Nikki Cross.
Ooh, let's see.
We only got 8 spots left for women.
I'm gonna say on the bubble.
I'm fine with that.
Yep. She's on the bubble for me. She's on the bubble. I put her high on the bubble list, but yeah, she's on the bubble.
Man, so through the first round of the entire main roster, we did not do 205 live yet. We did a couple guys that were on the Raw list that happened to compete there, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 spots used for the males. So we still have 21 spots to fill. We have for the women 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8 spots remaining, as Chad mentioned.
Yeah. Now here's the thing about when I talked about the depth thing earlier with the women, right? So there's only 7 women on NXT UK. There are no women on 205 Live.
Yep.
So that's why 20 was like.
So should we move that to like 18 or something, or?
I'll say this: let's do the 20 now, and then after that, we'll go through a power ranking after that, and then we'll cut down to like 15 or something like that.
That works.
All right.
And our bubble crew. Apollo Crews, Bray Wyatt, Chad Gable, Grand Metalik, Mickie James, Harper, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Carmella, Sonya, and Nikki Cross. For the 12 women, we have Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Ember Moon, the Riot Squad, Nia Jax, Natalya, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Naomi. For the men, Braun Strowman, The Revival, Dean Ambrose, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Andrade, The Bar, Daniel Bryan, The Usos, The New Day, The Miz, Mustafa Ali, Rusev, and Samoa Joe. Everyone else's services are no longer needed in the community.
Now, you know why I like our list like this? We didn't overstuff it with other people that... We didn't overstuff it and rely on what is always better weekly, every single week. The network shows to fill out either half of the roster or the rest of it. And these are people that have not been seen by the masses. So they're clay that we can mold into whatever else. And they're not been ruined by being on TV for hours and hours and hours. So I like that.
Yep.
I like what
we've got so far. Yeah, I do.
Awesome, man. So yeah, Chad, hopefully you will join us for another episode of this. Next Sunday we can do it if something crazy doesn't break throughout the week. Yeah, and Chad, let them know where they can find you and any news you want to drop on them.
Well, you can find me at the Doc LOP on Twitter. At this point, I'm basically just watching all sorts of different stuff and commenting on it. Not a whole lot of live talk about what's going on week to week, but a lot of looking back and looking forward. And, so if you are interested in engaging in a conversation about past and present, then hit me up. You can find my columns on lordsofpain.net. Not really doing a whole lot of current events related material right now, but I've got all sorts of different rankings types projects. And then the greatest matches and rivalries of the WrestleMania era has been out for just over 6 months in its print and now ebook editions. So check it out. And I think you will enjoy it. If you enjoy wrestling and you enjoy reading, I think you will find it quite entertaining. So
awesome,
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Always great to have you, Chad.
Yes, and I cannot wait for you to do another edition of that so you can add Charlotte versus Becky onto this thing in the top 50. Can't wait.
Yeah, man. So that's going to wrap up the show this week. James, any final announcements and overall thoughts? Both of you guys, actually. Overall thoughts on what we have so far.
I'm happy where we are. I just need to do more looking into the men's side of the network and kind of figure out where we're going to end up on this. But I do like where we are on the main roster, and like looking at the product to kind of have an idea of the discrepancies and kind of where we are on that. So I think that's also an interesting tell on that too as well.
I think we're going to have a good balance. I think we're going to hit I think we're going to hit a good 20 women mark very nicely with our runs through the NXTs. And as far as the 40-man male roster with only 19 spots used, then I feel like we might actually come back to our bubble. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, like, as smooth as I pictured it. I know when I sprung the idea on you both, I think both you guys had thought of, like, how's this all going to work? But this worked pretty much as easy as I could imagine. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening to the show this week. Be sure to check us out and all the other shows here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Of course, on Sundays, me and James got you covered with One Nation Radio. Got Keepin It Strong Style with Jeremy and Josh. Wilfred Watches, All Things Elite, the Omega Luke Wrestling Podcast, Grown Men Watch This Shit, and Ricky and Clive will be coming at you on Wednesdays. Make sure you guys are rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Podbean, wherever you guys listen to us, and check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, the Social Suplex Podcast Network. You can pick yourself up a One Nation Radio shirt, a Keepin It Strong Style shirt, the Social Suplex shirt, as well as the new Ricky and Clive Wrestling t-shirt. Make sure you guys also check out our friends over at Power Slam TV and give us a visit on our Patreon. I just released episode 3 of Goldberg, the road to 173-0. We also hit you on the $1 tier with an instant reaction show to the All Elite rally that happened in Las Vegas. And they did the ticket party. Kenny Omega, of course, signed, and all that. So we'll holla at y'all. Peace. James?
Yeah, just ready to compete with AEW. Later.
Thank you for listening to One Nation Radio. We'll see you next time.